Zoom check. You guys hear me okay? Okay. So, I don't know how much you know about accreditation. So schools become accredited, okay, and it's a process that gets done through the Montana Office of Public Instruction. We conduct the process and it's the Board of Public Ed who finalizes it. So it sits on a particular set of rules called ARM 1055 accreditation. And so there's a set of rules. We just renewed and updated the rules that'll take effect here on July 1st, 2023. So they've just been reviewed comprehensively. The last time would have been 10 years ago. So, and if you want to just kind of move ahead. So because the rules are new, there's this opportunity to come in and kind of look at the process, put the new rules into place and really be sure that the process is working the way that it's intended to. So I just kind of wanted to share with you kind of what was old and what is new and have a conversation about it. So you can kind of go to the next slide, Anna. So we've been talking a lot with our schools out there to say, as we take and implement these new rules and think about the process of how we're going to be gathering the data and then scoring, or basically, I don't want to score, but getting the status of where you'll be on accreditation. And then the timeline, because we currently do it every year for all 830 some schools. And so we're just been talking about, as the new rules come into place, how do we really kind of look at that process? So we've just finished up the 6th of 8 feedback sessions that we're kind of finalizing to say, here's what we're thinking about for the process. Is this going to work or not? So one of the pieces, this is a critical component, is at the, and this is in statute, where there's annual data collection. So there's certain data points that are required for the OPI to gather about teachers, about students, as part of an annual data collection. So there's things from such as how many teachers, how many are licensed, how many are not licensed, to then do they qualify for a quality educator payment? And if so, that means they have to have a license to do, then you have a quality educator, then you get this additional payment that comes in February. So there's all this data that gets collected, and it's pretty robust, the amount of data that happens. And so I would say that they said about 10 or 15 years ago, they had made the decision to build this new platform called Teams, where the schools would be putting all of this data in, and they would then take the data from the annual data collection and use it as part of accreditation. Well, what happened then is that this whole data collection became the accreditation process, which is really not technically right, because there's a lot of data. So when you look here, this has just got a lot of words in it. But when you just look up here and you see the green parts there under these examples of like the data for terms of employment or teacher class, the green are the ones that actually are data that's used in the accreditation process to accredit your school. All the others are not. So we're trying to really streamline and say, rather than having our school officials, whether it's your superintendent, your clerks, having to be putting data here and data here and data there, how do we streamline this so they put data in one time in one location? And then for the accreditation process, we'll just pull it out of there. Rather than saying, we recognize you have it here, but we want you to put it here for us to do it for this process. And then we'll give this also. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard of AIM or Infinite Campus. It's the tool at the school system that they use for putting in the classes and the rosters and the teacher names and the bell schedule and the calendar. And so that's the student information system. So now we're going to be able, next slide, Anna. We're super excited because she's good. So 95% of that is actually going to live in the system they're already putting the data in. And that leaves us about 5% of some things that we're going to need to still kind of collect in this other system. But So we're going through a lot of data modernization and we're super excited of where we're kind of sitting. Next slide. So this just kind of talks about how important this is. And the school officials have said quite often, can you please help us remove duplicative processes that take up so much time, right? That it just becomes a lot of input, to the point of which there's not much time then to actually look at the things and get some output to use that data for purposes. So next slide. Um, so the accreditation process, there's a lot of words on here, but in Montana, in the administrative rules, there's two kinds of standards that are used to measure school quality to determine your accreditation level. There's assurance standards, and then there's student performance standards. So the assurance standards are all those inputs, like, are your teachers licensed? Are they teaching in the area that they're licensed to teach? So for example, if you've been, your license says you're to teach elementary school, but you're teaching in high school, then you're licensed, but you're not assigned in the right spot. So those are the kind of the assurance standards, if you will, that go into the accreditation system to say, do you have the staff and are they appropriate licensed and they appropriately placed and are you using them in the way that it's intended? The assurance standards also have other things like, do you have a hazard plan in place, a suicide prevention plan, these kinds of things that say these are the parts that every school is expected to have to be accredited. And then there's the outputs, which are the student performance outcomes that say, well, how is your school doing? Right? So we're going to credit you, we're going to determine the credit level that you get based upon not only do you have all the ingredients for the inputs, but are you putting that together and are you getting the intended outcomes that you want to have? Are your students performing? Are they learning? Are they growing? All of those pieces. And so then the next step is to really take what we used to have called a continuous school improvement plan. So they like to take all of this information and say, how are you doing? What are the pieces you have? To say, we want you to continuously be improving. Even if you're performing really well, what are you doing to keep performing really well? Where are the places maybe you want to get better? What are some of those things? So they put together, after they go through this process, a plan. So the intention was to start to kind of integrate all the different plans that schools have to do. So they got one big plan. And so that this piece is here. So a new component that they also put in this year in the new rules is this piece down here called a graduate profile. And so that's going to be new to everyone. And the graduate profile is really, it's a set of characteristics to say when our students leave our system and have completed their K-12 programming, what are the characteristics or attributes we want each of them to have? And so it's not just saying we want them to have had math class and one, PE class and one of this. What are some of the things we want to be sure that they're able to walk away from? Do they have the ability to be critical thinkers? Do they have the ability to work together well? Are they able to apply technology? I mean, it depends, right? And so it really is contingent upon that school. I know that in many of our tribal schools, what's really important that they want every graduate to walk away with is an understanding of their culture and their language. And that's a piece that we've seen really shine through in many of our schools. So that would be maybe a particular piece for a particular community to say, that's an attribute. We want students to have a sense of identity. We want students to have a sense of their own cultural identity and what that means. And so this all depends. So this whole graduate profile is to say, for accreditation purposes, what really do you want your kids to walk away from? And how are you doing getting there? How are the things you're putting in place? So for example, if you really want your kids to have that sense of cultural identity and want the school to be supporting that, well, then you probably should have some cultural language specialists in the school. You should have some teachers who are in the dual immersion program who can teach the program like you guys have at KW Vina, that kind of thing, so that you're saying, how are you building your system in who you're hiring and the way you're using them, the classes you're offering, and then are the kids really getting to the outcomes that you want to have? And so then how are you planning and using your resources to get there. So this is a new piece where it's saying really in your unique community, how do you really take all of this to be driving what you really want each of your graduates to have when they complete your system? Next slide, Anna. Talking a lot. So this is on the student performance standards. So we talked a little bit about the assurance standards, but right now on the student performance standards, we only measure from the statewide assessments for math and English, language arts, reading, for 3rd through 8th grade, because that's when we do that big end of year test, or we measure graduation rates. And so we're going to continue to measure those metrics, but we would like schools to be able to say to us, there's a lot of other metrics and a lot of other outcomes that we think really show and should be considered part of our accreditation process that we're achieving. So maybe we want to look at how our kiddos are doing in kinder. Maybe we want to look at how our kiddos are doing in first. How are they doing on reading? And schools have a lot of this data that they could be saying, I can show you that our kids are growing and learning. Here's some other outcomes. Some of the schools really want to start to be sure that we've got strong credentialing or work-based learning opportunities or internships or apprenticeships, so they could show, look at all of the different programming that we're offering that's really kind of helping our kiddos for college and career and aspirations after, and look at how many have earned credentialing, or look at how many have been in apprenticeships or internships and were working and earned credit at the same time. So we want schools to start to be able to add more than what we've been collecting to really demonstrate for us how their students are performing in a lot of other areas. We also believe that like a quality school that you want to credit, and you look at their learning environment really matters. What kind of learning environment do you have? Is it one where students are recognized and do feel a sense of a support and do feel a sense of challenge and a rigor and motivated and a sense of, a connection to the other people and other students in their group and collaborative and team efforts. And so all that really matters. Do families feel welcome there? Do families feel a part of that learning environment is super important. So we've kind of shifted to say, this year, when we get this first new rollout of the rules, let's be sure we're using the ones we got. But then once we start to get them in, allow them to do more. Representative Windy Boy, how are you doing? Oh, there's just a few, huh? Not bad? Well, that's a sense of accomplishment. Yeah. Well, good. So we're talking about accreditation. And I know you know quite a bit about some of the arms, and that we've just went through review of the chapter 55 accreditation rules under the Board of Public Ed. Actually, I would like for Jonathan to see, will you go to the part on the EFA? Just it's forward, not backwards. Keep going. Oh, might have been. One more. Maybe it was back. I'm sorry. Go back to one more. Okay. So forward. Sorry. More. Okay. Okay. So go back one, just because I want to share with, because I really want Jonathan's thoughts on this actually, that I got him here officially. So Jonathan, before, when they would take a look at the assurance standards, it was really a checklist to say, do you have these things? And is it in the first year, the second, or the third year? So regular means you have it. The first year you don't, do you get a deviation for that? Or do you get a deviation in the second year? So it was kind of this checklist of, do you have this? And a good portion of it, Jonathan, was on, are teachers licensed? Are they assigned to the class in which they're licensed to do? How many students do you have? And we put in there a piece for, so next slide. So we wanted to start to look at moving from checklist to more of a continuum to say to what degree. And we also wanted to start to shift from including some of the components that we haven't been measuring and saying that you need to have in place, right? So for the elementary programming, the middle school programming, and the high school programming in these rules, we added, you must be implementing EFA within your programming as required. So we want to see, and we want them to demonstrate to us, are you doing that? And in what way? And provide us evidence so that they have to upload or include things that tell us, how are you doing that? And so that's kind of the shift we're trying to make from it being just a checklist of the, are you licensed? Are you in the right class? How many kids do you have in a class? To including all of those other components that haven't been monitored or held accountable. The question becomes, we want it to be not just a checkbox of saying, yeah, we do that. We want to be able to see evidence to support that you're really doing it. What would that look like? And could you show it? So I would love to hear your thoughts on that, around that shift of how you think in this process for accreditation. Because I know you've been working considerably around this, some pieces. Thoughts?
Well, my big issue
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is pretty stark as far as what they're doing there. And it kind of like for me, like for medicines, herbs, and their botany, the constellations that we have with some of our teachings, they have the similar deal. And it's just that a lot of those proficiency stuff is basic. And we've been studying all of this stuff. We've been teaching this for centuries. centuries and centuries, even before the 3 ships that got lost. We were doing all of that. All of a sudden, these 3 ships showed up and say, "Hey, there's all this free land here. There's a civilization that are dumber than a box of rocks." Basically, there was nothing but that's basically what the mentality of it. But yet at the same time, the standards that those Hawaiians are doing in their immersion are basically standards that we've been teaching here for generations, thousands of years. It's just that nobody didn't believe us that we have this knowledge. Making sense?
Yep.
And that's why I say that, where my mind is at as far as standards are, whether it be proficiency, whether it be whatever standards are in place, there's got to be a medium here. How do we fit those into this rulemaking?
You go back 2 slides. So keep one more. Right? One more. Okay. So if you look currently, this is the only thing we're measuring on the left side for student performance in the current accreditation. Take a look at proficiency on the reading and the math, 3rd through 8th grade on those statewide assessments that are taken, and then 11th grade on that ACT. And then we look at graduation rates just on that cohort data. We want schools to start to be able to potentially demonstrate other measures beyond those, so that they can start to show what are they looking at, wanting to demonstrate how kiddos are growing and in what areas, or what are some of the opportunities that they're providing, right? That may not be the same in every school, but what kind of opportunities are you providing that line up with what you want your graduate attributes you want your graduates to have?
So, if I can interject, Wendy Boy's House Bill 338, he has quite a bit of language that I think pertains to this. You know, when we talk about recognizing the Montana Code annotated section 21501, recognition of American Indian cultural heritage. The legislative intent, the bill goes through that, and then the amendments that are in his bill. Defined educational agency means a Montana University System professional educator, the Board of Public Education, and OPI, and the school districts. And then this bill is already, the code had already defined what instruction means, in-service training through OPI. And then on section 3 of his bill, we omit the qualification in Indian studies trustees and non-certified personnel. And we add Indian education for all. And then we omit the old first section of that and add pursuant to this part and the definition of basic system of free quality public elementary and secondary schools under 20-9-309. The Board of Trustees shall require that all certified personnel and all students receive instruction in American Indian Studies. So this is a guarantee that all of our kids in Montana are going to receive our definition of what Indian education or American Indian Studies is. And pursuant to this, in this bill, we also add that the Board of Public Education is encouraged to incorporate the distinct and unique cultural heritage. So everything that's already in the Montana Constitution. So these things that our Constitution states about the content standards that schools must implement as a requirement for school accreditation. And the superintendent shall include representatives of Montana Indian tribes on negotiated rulemaking committees formed pursuant to 20-7-109, addressing the development or revision of content standards under subsection 3A. So this all leads to Indian education for all payment. So in order for our schools to get payment under this bill, they have to meet these definitions of what American studies are. for the program and in a form and a date prescribed by the superintendent of public instruction. So that's basically what his bill does, and it looks really good. It's going today. The committee report 4/6/2023, education and cultural resources bill concurred as amended. So it has an amendment. There's associated amendments. Yeah, and so it's got encouraging instead of requiring. It says encouraging the Board of Public Education superintendent, and then applicability date, and it changed, the amendment changed shall to encourage. So there needs to be a report that's submitted. So it really does a lot to.
That's a lot of yeses.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it looks pretty. It's on its way to being signed by the governor. But
I gotta go to Senate.
to the Senate committee, Senate floor.
Well, it's got good momentum. Well, it's good news.
Let me give you an example. What do you want? What do you think? How do you think we can improve this? Well, math, for example, in my language, pek nisu nisto neo nianan nikutasak tepago enan okigam tatat metatat. Is that offered in the school? No, it's not part of a standard. And furthermore, when we're talking about the history, how far back do we teach history as part of our standard in the schools? Columbus, forward. My tribe, for the Ojibwe, nobody gave me the opportunity to say, hey, when those three ships got lost over there, my people were inhabitants of the Poconos Mountains in Pennsylvania. That's why you see all of those Ojibways, you come farther west because we're going to the backbone of Turtle Island, which is the Rockies. But yet a lot of our people decide to stay along the way. That's why you see Ojibways from all the way over there to this way, because of that migration. That's my history. Is that offered in schools? See my point?
And he's trying
Yeah.
street.
And nobody knows that 3/4 of the Blackfeet Nation is Cree.
Is this true?
No, my wife was an Indian education specialist for the Polson School District, and you know, the chairman of CSKT recently in his speech, the state of tribal address, said that it's like 65 plus tribes are represented in the school districts on the reservation. So something that my wife had to recognize is that she took an assessment of all the kids in the class and tried to pertain her lesson plan for that year to recognize each of the identities in terms of what tribes they represent. So, it's, there's 570 plus tribes, in the United States, and they're what my wife was doing was progressive in terms of what type of lessons are offered in this program so far. And so working with, these there's a lot of educated Native Americans who are getting into, the educational field, and working with them to create lesson plans that are more broader. Like I said, there's 11 tribes here in the state, but, the state represents so many other tribes, and CSKT, that Flathead Reservation is representative of that. It needs to be, an open, an open discussion recognizing all those individual tribes.
And way back in those days, in the last 500 years, there hasn't really been anything as far as tracking or what we have today, as far as the only way that we can legitimize anything is through documentation. And we have a lot of documentation through pictographs, a lot of documentation that way. But yet, as they recognize in the general sense of mainstream America, no, we just know them as pictures. And it's just like, for example, Sweetgrass Hills up here on the north slope there. There's a whole bunch of pictographs that identifies a lot of things that happen throughout the course of history on this land here. And for us, we've never as nations, we never have had that mentality that this is my land right here, stay off, or this is my private property. We never did have that mentality as we do now. That's why we're here dealing with state laws to address that. And back then it was all natural law, which is not recognized. And so that's why I say that as far as a lot of these things that, say for example, my land up there in Rocky Boy, south of Havre, according to the State Department, there are 87 tribes nationwide that have connections to that little piece of land there. And so, and how I found out is I'm my tribe's historic preservation officer, and to identify project that happens within, we're fortunate because like all tribes, Fort Peck, you guys have a cultural issue that's going on over there. Well, as a Rocky Boy Tippo, I'm gonna yield everything because that's where you're living now. In the same way with us, all those 87 tribes that have cultural ties to my area, they have the respect and honor to let me take the lead on all of that, which is kind of foreign to the government. So, anyways, that's why I say that if you guys really want to get standards, get down and dirty with the standards and get serious with it, tribes are ready to rock and roll with you, ready to do the twist and the swim. You probably wonder what the heck's he talking about. I remember in the 60s when I was in grade school, I used to watch my sisters, boy, they'd be doing a twist.
Oh, goodness. Well,
So you're getting where I'm getting from?
I am. I appreciate you taking a moment to just kind of sit with me on some stuff, right? About this whole accreditation around, when we go to accredit the schools, what does it mean to accredit them? And for what,
Mhm.
right?
And that's the thing about it, is that's what separates, like for me in Rocky Boy School, there's that little patch of land where the school sits. It's like an island in a country in its own. Because if there is an incident that happens on there, tribal police can't go on there because it's state jurisdiction. I don't know, don't ask me why, it's just the way.
Does OPI work with the tribal colleges at all?
Yeah, we, pretty closely. So, for example, this is our first year for the residency program. And so we had 6 residents up in, the Blackfeet, up in the, up there, Brownie School District. And, they were the 2x2. And so what we did this year with some of the ESSER money was we actually paid them to do their student teaching.
Okay.
And their student teaching wasn't just for 12 weeks, but it was for the whole year. So that they could really have that full year experience, be paid to do it. And then the teacher leaders who were the teachers in the classroom coaching those teachers were paid like our basketball coaches are paid because usually we give them a stipend of like $250 to coach up the teachers, right? And so Tony Tatsy, she's the one that has them all in her school. And so it's been really great because it gave additional support to the students and the teachers for that whole year. And then they didn't have to pay credits or pay to do their student teaching. Usually what happens in education, you have to pay to take the classes and then you have to go do the job. You don't get paid for it. And neither does the person who's helping really the one coach you. So they're ready to do 5 for next year. So so we're working really closely with the University of Montana Western on that program with the 2x2 up there. And pretty strong down in Crow as well.
Yeah, because there's a lot of, I mean, I graduated from Salish County College and in terms of like language preservation as an outcome, streamlining the process for a student graduating high school to get into tribal college, get a bachelor's degree in their language. SKC offers that. I know Blackfeet does too as well. So those are programs to get them to become teachers, you know, from that high school to college in that process. And then, I mean, I graduated out of tribal administration and governance, which is like a Native American studies program. And there's focus on getting American Indian studies to be more representative in the school, that they could streamline them to get them into those types of degree programs. Because I know these tribal students just don't, you know, a lot of them are working to graduate. A lot of them don't see themselves graduating. What is after high school, and streamlining them to get into tribal colleges is you know, the easiest step in terms of where they're located on tribal reservations. Get into tribal college and then get them into a university.
Even get that credit while they're in high school, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm. Yeah, that's.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Well,
That's gonna be one of the laws and input changes. Is that the school districts must. consult
must.
tribe. As far as what you're talking about on standards and everything, keep in mind that that's gonna be. the new law. Give us a chance, tell our story. Because the majority, about, I would say 99.9% of my tribal members don't even know we can. Because they're not given a chance unless people speak person to person.
That's exciting to hear.
Yeah.
That's good. That's some serious movement.
Turtle Mountain, Ojibwe, and we're from North Dakota. I only know my history and from Red Lake, that we moved from Red Lake. I barely know what's before that.
Yeah, even that, like I was mentioning, where we come from, Poconos Mountains, as we come this way. Chicago, it means in our language, Chicago is kind of basically identifying a skunk city.
It's Wisconsin. Oh, jeez. Yeah. Yes. Huh.
And that's the way it is, you know, there's documentation throughout history about all of that, about our migration that comes this way. And when you're
All
talking
on the
about
north right up there.
on the northern, plus into Canada, and then the two, when we got to Minnesota, all of those areas, Red Lake was the last place before we come this way. And then Turtle Mountain is our last stop there. And that's where that last bunch stayed there. And then right by Minot, there's a place called Burlington, right west of there, where the two waterways split.
Oh, okay.
There's one that went into Hinton, Alberta, and the one came this way. So when we left Turtle Mountain, that was the last place there. And then we were supposed to go to Turtle Island, and then when we got over here to Garrison, Montana, just west of here, 40 miles, that's where our Ojibwe. What they didn't do is they're supposed to go one more over. But when we were camped there, and this one guy who bought that land up down here at Crazy Mountains, that's where my tree side was camped. My grandma was 5 years old when they were there. And so when a guy bought up that land there, that BIA agent asked him, "What do you want to do with these Indians?" "Get them off my goddamn land. Goddamn, it's my land. No, it's my private." So that when that agent asked him what they want to do with it, he said, "We heard there's a band over here by," meaning the Ojibwe band. So that's where they took them. That's where Chippewa and Cree together. Yeah. So that's what I say. A lot of people don't know that. And that's my history. Just give me a chance to tell it in my history on my part. Stuff.
Well, I'm glad I caught you
Yeah.
and heard the good news.
Yeah. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Exciting.
See what that amendment
Being
looks
an
like.
Indian these days. these
Yeah.
couple weeks.
Oh, it's like
Huh?
this, right?
What's
My
that like?
my ICWA bill. They're just
Okay.
Talk to Brad.
Oh,
Tell you, Jonathan.
gutting it. But just like any bill, amended bill has got to come over. I can accept or reject.
well, you're gonna be busy a couple more weeks, huh?
Yeah. 8 out of 10 still alive. That's kind of almost
That's kind
unheard
of
of.
a really good record.
Super duper minority.